Hey everybody, it's John with Sky Cowboy Supply Company. You all may know me from my helmets, the Sky Cowboy helmet, but I'm here with you today to talk about my aircraft and the AeroLED landing and taxiing lights that I have installed in the aircraft. I put this video together to do a direct comparison between the AeroLEDs and your factory halogen bulbs. I'm not a YouTuber, so please excuse the production quality. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and I'll do my best to answer them. Please enjoy.
While I don't do much night flying, these LED landing lights have become essential safety equipment on my aircraft. Operating primarily in the backcountry on floats where there are no established patterns or traffic control, being highly visible is crucial. As you can see in this footage, these lights make my aircraft stand out from miles away, giving other pilots plenty of time to spot me. I keep my wingtip lights on wigwag everywhere I fly. In the uncontrolled backcountry environment, that extra visibility could mean the difference between a close call and a comfortable margin of safety. Getting into the comparison now, this is my 1979 Cessna A185F. It was refurbished by PK Floats 2 years ago and is typically on PK 3050 amphibs. But as the days are getting shorter and cooler, we are on wheels for the winter. This plane has Sunspot series aero LEDs in the cowling in both the taxi and landing factory locations. It also has the Stein Aviation and Aero LED Quasar wingtips landing and taxi lights, which are part of a Sportsman STOL kit, which is the leading edge cuff. This aircraft also has the Robertson STOL drooping ailerons as well. So it performs pretty well. For the comparison aircraft, we have a 1969 Cessna 180. This one happens to have a P-Ponk and 31-inch bush wheels. It also has the factory taxi and landing light in the wing. Those are the halogen bulbs, which may not be the original from the factory, but are the original style. Similar to mine, though, it does have the red and green and strobe marker lights on the wingtips from Aero LEDs. This aircraft is similarly equipped with this Sportsman STOL leading edge cuff, but does not have the Quasar wingtip LED landing lights. As far as a testing setup goes, I parked the two aircraft next to each other, both facing down the grass strip. Again, on the right, there is the Cessna 185 with the Aero LEDs, and on the left is the Cessna 180 with the factory halogen bulbs. Transitioning to the results data, here you can get an appreciation for how much brighter and whiter the Aero LEDs are. This doesn't do a good enough job of really showing the difference and improvement in visibility, but we'll be able to get into that later in the video here. But the old halogen bulbs are clearly a much warmer and yellower or oranger light compared to the bright white LEDs in the Cessna 185. If you look closely, you can see the tree line down and to the left is being lit up by the Cessna 185. Here's another perspective that gives you some appreciation for how much further down this grass field the AeroLEDs are casting light. It's worth noting in this clip here that it's taken as one single shot, so the camera settings are the same. Similarly, in this upcoming video, the camera settings are locked between the left and right comparison. The shutter speed and the aperture are the same, and so it's a true, apples to apples comparison. Often is the case where the camera either doesn't do it justice or overamplifies night vision. I had the settings pretty close to what I was seeing in real life experience. So here I'm walking about 100 paces or 100 yards down in front of the aircraft. On the left, you have the halogen bulbs, and on the right, you have the AeroLEDs. With the AeroLEDs, these are simply the in the cowling taxi and landing lights that are on. I do not have the wingtips on. I wanted to make this, a similar apples to apples comparison. Didn't really seem fair to have the quasars on because those might be exclusive to the Sportsman STOL kit. On the left, this was very close to what I was seeing. The light was fading as I was walking down. You could barely make out my shadow. And most importantly, the trees on the left-hand side of the runway, as I make this turn, you were not illuminated at all. Whereas in the LEDs, you could see the tree line where I was standing 300 feet in front of the aircraft and well down the grass field for another probably 200 or 300 yards. In turning around, you can also see the difference in brightness between these two aircraft. Again, aperture settings, shutter speeds are the same in this comparison. If you look at the building in the back, it's illuminated just as much. So it's not like the camera settings are different between the two videos. This was actually taken in one unedited clip. I'm just putting them here side by side for the comparison. So here we have a still shot of the Cessna 180 and the halogen bulbs. It's a relatively focused beam here. It's worth noting that it's not illuminating the tree line on the left or the trees at the end of the runway. I'd estimate that the light output goes about 150 yards, and that tree on the left is where I had walked to in the previous clip. When we contrast this to the 185 with the LED bulbs, you can see a big difference. This beam is much less focused, but also much more powerful. So you can see the tree line on the left-hand side. That first big tree is the 100-yard mark, and you can still make out the trees at the end of the grass strip. According to Google Maps, that's just about 450 yards. So the light output here is a big difference compared to the Cessna 180. That concludes the comparison video. Here's a couple shots of the 185 taking off. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks.